Hi kids, it's Pastor Jason. It's been quite a while since I've seen some of you. We've seen each other on Sundays on Zoom, and you've been listening and you've been singing along, which is awesome. But I've been feeling kind of bad because we haven't been able to do kids' church like we usually do. And a lot of things aren't happening the way they usually are. But that doesn't mean we can't still do cool things. And so we're going to try something. We'll see what happens. When I was your age, my parents used to read to me every night from the Bible. The Bible is a big book, but it's a collection of a lot of stories that my parents read to me every night. And in them reading these stories to me each night, well, it shaped who I became and who I was and who I am. And so while we're all kind of doing the things we're doing now, I thought it would be pretty cool if maybe we could share a song together and we could do a story together. And so parents, these are the stories. This is actually the collection of stories my parents sent me to be able to read to my kids. And so, ready? Here we go.
You won't let go. I will not worry today. Instead, I'll continue to pray and thank you for all you've done for me. There's things I just don't understand, and it shows that no one can. But you're in the midst of all of this. When I'm afraid, you know, with all of these unknowns, you're holding the whole world, and you won't let go. You won't let go. You're holding the whole world, and you won't let go. When I'm afraid, you know, with all of these unknowns, you're holding on to us, and you won't let go. You won't let go.
This past Sunday in regular church, we talked about the story of God rescuing his people from slavery in Egypt. And that's this story. It's called The Great Escape. And this story comes from the book of Exodus, chapters 3 through 15. And it's the story of God rescuing his people from slavery in Egypt. Ready? Here we go. The Great Escape. Passover time is here again. The skipping children sing. Unleavened bread with roasted lamb to our table bring. The youngest children ask, but why is dinner strange tonight? Their father says, it tells us of the story of our flight. Long ago, when Moses was grazing flock one day, he saw a bush burst into flame and heard a strange voice say, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob too. The promise I once gave to them, I surely will bring true. The sadness of my children down in Egypt saddens me. I'll show you how to help me make my people free. Moses went to Egypt, and there in blistering sun, he watched his people make brick. Their work was never done. He found his brother Aaron and told him of God's plan. Please go to Pharaoh with me. You are a bolder man. Inside the mighty palace, before the golden throne, they bowed down to Pharaoh and made God's wishes known. Pharaoh listened to them, dismissed them with a nod. Why should I free the Hebrews? I do not know your God. He felt so cross, he made his slaves work twice as hard and long. I am the ruler here. That Hebrew God is wrong. God sent plagues to Pharaoh's land. All water turned blood red. 1,000,000 frogs hopped all around. At last the Pharaoh said, tell your God to end these plagues. I'll let your people go. But when the ugly frogs had disappeared, he changed his mind again. God sent flies and other bugs, and families got sick. But after every plague, the king soon tried his old trick. He made all sorts of promises the Hebrew people heard, but when things started to go well, he broke his promised word. At last God had enough. He said to Moses, listen, tonight when darkness fills the skies and stars begin to glisten, I will send my angel, Death, to take Egyptian sons. If Hebrew doors are marked, he'll know your homes are not the ones. Then God told Moses what to do. They all prepared a feast. They killed their firstborn lambs and used some blood from every beast to mark their doorways as a sign for death to pass them by. They mixed their dough without the yeast, though children wondered why. Late in the night, Egyptians rose and wept. Death made them sad. When Pharaoh's servants wakened him, he cried, this news is bad. He summoned Moses, Aaron too, and muttered, go, I say, tell your people they must leave. Please take them far away. In haste, the Hebrews packed their tents, their bowls with dough for bread. There was no time to raise it then. They'd eat flatbread instead. Small children stumbled, sleepy-eyed. Their parents tried to hurry. The Pharaoh still might change his mind. This was a constant worry. They started for the promised land. The Lord knew every need. That was a loud car. They started for the promised land. The Lord knew every need. His flame would light the way each night. By day, his cloud would lead. They camped nearby the sea named Red. At night, somebody shouted, see, the Pharaoh's chariots have come. Oh, hurry, we must flee. God's cloud made all the sky pitch black. It filled the way between the Hebrews and the army, so no people could be seen. God made a wind push back the waves. It left a bridge of sand. The Hebrews hurried over it, their freedom close at hand. Pharaoh's army quick gave chase, but with a roaring sound. The walls of water covered them, and many men were drowned. With beating hearts, the Hebrews sang a prayer of victory. They praised the Lord for saving them, and they shouted, we are free. And that's the story of Moses, a person that God chose to use to lead his people to rescue. One of the things that's been tough these past few weeks is not seeing our friends. And for grown-ups and for you kids too, I know that's been tough with school being different and church being different and everything. And so I thought it would be cool if we could have some of you share with each other. So we thought it would be cool if you could share with your friends. So we're going to do that. We're going to have some questions along the way. Some of the things that maybe you're learning. Some of the things that you have been praying that you're thankful for. And so today, the Zaretsky's are going to share with us. Nora and Jacob and even Claire.
Nora, what is one thing that you feel God has taught you through this?
Well, I feel like it has really taught me patience, because I really struggle with patience, and this whole thing has just been a big lesson on patience, and it's been really helpful.
That we've stayed healthy, and that everyone we know hasn't gotten it severely or died. So I'm glad about that.
You're grateful for that?
Absolutely.
Mama,
Claire, did it teach you anything?
no.
No.
I'll go with my sins.
You want to go see your friends?
Yeah. I'll go with my sins, my house.
You want to go to their house? Well, soon, right?
Go my house soon.
Soon.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Thanks so much for sharing, you guys, the things that you're learning and thankful for and praying about. And it's so awesome to hear from you. Moses was just like you and me. Even though he's a guy in the Bible, he was just like us. He had things that he was afraid of, but through it all, he trusted God. And he talked to God about the things that he was afraid of. And he listened. And God used him to do some cool things. And this is the story of the Great Escape. Thanks. Thanks for being here today. We'll see you next time.